Dum dee diddle die dum do he lie dum dee diddle die dum do he lie dum dee diddle die dum do he hiddle 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 hi dum do. Whore away the day bairns.
Dunfermline.
Dunfermline. And which part of Dunfermline are we going to?
This is like the cathedral bit.
Not the cathedral bit. This is actually Pittencrieff Park. And do you know what Pittencrieff Park is?
It's one of the.
It's a park, Chloe. It's a very big park. So this used to be something called the Pittencrieff Estate, and it was bought by a very famous man. Do you know what his name was?
I know it was one of the
richest men in the world. So Andrew Carnegie. And he was born in Dunfermline in the Weaver's Cottage just down the road, and he bought this estate and turned it into a park for the people. So it has got lots of stuff. We've got the big pavilion, we've got the old glass house in Laird's Garden, and there's a wonderful play park, there's a dukut,
a Japanese garden,
well, type of garden. We've got the glen. I mean, this place really has it all. Would you like to just give us a wee read of this top one there, William?
Yeah. Walking in the glen gives you the chance to see wildlife, trees, gardens, or historical buildings and sites. Throughout the park and its many paths, there are areas that make ideal rest stops or viewpoints, including lawns and benches, so there's no need to rush. Here are some suggested walking routes along the glen to get really started. Right,
well, let's come down here. Well, we're going to see the man himself who built all this, or who gave it to the people. Now, it's actually an amazing park, this. I've come here since I was very, very young. And used to come with a pipe band and used to come and play here. And it's got lovely little walkways. It's got like a little animal sanctuary and all the rest of it. So, Andrew Carnegie was a philanthropist. Do you know what a philanthropist is?
A rich person giving people who are in need, or like...
A rich person who basically gives away all the money that they got, eh? That's exactly what they do. And that was what he did. And he was one of the people who encouraged all the other rich people to do the same thing. So it became quite an exciting thing. Oh, go and pass me that up. Don't want to be getting too windy here. Yep. Now, we can just see the dukut, or the dovecote over there, can't we? Now that one there, the other ones we've seen, how does that one compare? It's really clean, and it's really fancy as well, isn't it? It's got a lot more sort of art and design to it, doesn't it?
A lot of the other ones are more like makeshift ones.
More functional, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this one looks absolutely spectacular. Right, well, we're going to see Andrew Carnegie.
Some posh pigeons must live in
Some
there.
very posh pigeons. Imagine that being your house, eh? Imagine that being your house. And look at this lovely wee bit for sitting on at the benches as you come up to his statue. Uh-oh. Who's that standing on his head?
It's evil.
Look at it. It's having a rare old time up there. I bet he doesn't even have any clue whose head he's standing on, does he?
Like, oh, looks like he's done the toilet.
Right, let's go and see this seagull and see what he's got to say for himself, and then we'll go over. Well, I don't know, I think maybe we'll take a wee walk around the park rather than going to the dukut.
Yeah.
What do you think? And here he is, the man himself, Andrew Carnegie. Check it out, eh?
Yep, pretty nice.
Pretty cool, huh? Can you read the little sign there, William?
Bronze statue erected to Dunfermline's most famous son was paid by the public subscription. The sculptor was Richard Gordon. 20,000 people attended its unveiling in 1914.
Wow, that is a lot of people. Can you imagine this place just filled with 20,000 people?
And the only reason this place is a city is because it has a cathedral.
It's got a cathedral, that's right. Well, an abbey.
Yeah.
And so last week we were up in Perth, and next to Perth is Scone, and that's where we crowned all our kings and queens. Now, Dunfermline is about 20, 30, 40 miles south of Perth. And what do you think was special about the cathedral or the abbey here? What did we do with our kings and queens here?
Did we bury them here?
We buried them here, that is right. And if I am correct, I believe there's maybe 17 or 18 of them buried right here in Dunfermline in the abbey.
Wow.
And just look at the trees here. Aren't they magnificent?
And wasn't Robert the Bruce buried here?
What's that?
Wasn't Robert the Bruce buried at the
Robert the Bruce is buried here. And I think the first one to be buried here was Malcolm III, which we've heard quite a lot about. He was the one who was out in Alloa and fought the battle at Tillabuddy, I'm sure.
Oh.
So here we go. So this is just taking you down to the wee park bit. So this is quite nice. And then over there we have the glen. So you can just see down there's a wee wall. And that wee wall goes right round the outside of the park, doesn't it? Right, come on down here and we'll have a wee look.
Yep.
Now, we've got a couple of nice parks in Alloa, don't we?
Nothing compared to this.
Nothing compared to this. I mean, the scale of this park. I mean, Andrew Carnegie was a very, very forward-thinking man, wasn't he?
He was like, develop now or never develop.
Well, so rather than develop it and turn it into houses or businesses or places where they can tax it or whatever, he decided to make it into a wonderful place for the people of the city, to improve the lives of the people. And even today, 100 or so years on, it's still doing that job admirably, isn't it?
I wonder how much money the Dunfermline put into it.
Well, I think nowadays, so I think nowadays they get funding and stuff.
Yeah.
From various charities. They'll help to redo it all and make it look nice like this.
Yeah.
And just look at the trees here.
Wow.
What do you think of these, Chloe? Oh, what's over here? Come on over here. Now, there's a very cool thing over here.
A locomotive.
A locomotive, that's right, William. And the locomotives were just coming about back then, weren't they?
Yeah. Steam.
Steam power and engines. So will we go and have a wee look at it?
Yeah.
Right, let's go and have a wee look at this steam engine. Now, back in Neolithic times there was a settlement here, but Dunfermline wasn't like much of Scotland. There wasn't a lot here until about 1100 AD. And that was when the kings decided this was where they were all going to be buried. So Dunfermline is a fairly new place compared to some of the other habitable places in Scotland.
Interesting.
And in terms of its size and trade, not a lot, well, there was quite a lot happening, but linen was the big trade. Remember, we talk about that in lots of our videos, the linen, the greens for making the linen. But Edinburgh was the capital for all of that. So what happened was, there was a man in 1709, there was a man from Dunfermline went to where they made all the linen in Edinburgh. And he pretended to be what they would call a simpleton. So he pretended that he didn't know very much and he wasn't very clever, so he could look at the processes and the formula for making the linen.
That is very smart thinking.
Very smart thinking. So what we call it now is industrial espionage. So what happened was, he came back to Dunfermline and turned Dunfermline into the linen central of Scotland.
And everyone like, no.
Can you imagine that?
They're probably so confused.
And just look at this engine. They don't make them like this anymore, do they?
Well, if they made it like this, it wouldn't be very good.
And what was this locomotive used for? Can you tell? Do you know?
Transport coal.
Transporting coal. So one of the big things that makes Fife, so this is where Dunfermline is, it's in the region of Fife. And in this particular part of Fife was all mining. So Dunfermline is the city or town in the middle. And then outside of that we have all the little mining villages like Valleyfield, Crossgates, all these places all right around here before Fife goes out to the coast and turns into the beautiful farmland out towards St Andrews. Right, well, we're going to have a wee look and just show folk the glen. What is a glen? What is a glen? A glen is a glen, but what would other people call a glen?
It's like a small bit of water.
Aye, so it's like where a bit of water comes down through the ravine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, William.
Sign.
Give us a wee read here.
Some of the past owners of Pittencrieff, a house have also links with the coal industry. Coal Road, which runs along the western side of the park, which was the main link for coal from the mines of the north of Dunfermline down to the lime kilns and the Forest estuary. The first decorative locomotive to suspend these links was donated by the National Coal Board to Pittencrieff Park in 1968. In 1988, the original was removed from the park to be upgraded and brought back into use at Summerslee. The Museum of Scottish Industrial Life in Coatbridge. The current hub came from Bristol Glen, Coiler, and was used to sit in the northeast side of the Glen Pavilion. The pub was built by Andrew Parkley Sons and Caledonia Works in Kilmarnock in 1934. It initially operated as number 9 West Edinburgh Collieries in Liverpool before moving around considerably to other collieries in central Scotland during the time when it was renumbered to number 29. Over the years, it's become in need of extensive repair and repaired into its authentic livery as part of the park's Heritage Lottery Fund. Restoration project by the locomotive has been proudly refurbished by volunteers from Shed 47 Railway Restoration Group at Scottish Vintage Bus Museum in Lathmond.
Wonderful reading, young man. Now, Chloe, what does it say on this sign? What kind of animals are running about here?
Peacocks.
Free roaming peacocks, and there's a bit of a sad story about them recently.
Yep.
What happened? Somebody came into the park late at night when they weren't meant to be here, and one of the peacocks ended up dying.
Yeah.
So at the moment I've actually seen videos of the other peacock who survived cruising about the town in a car, going out for little runs, and then everyone else is able to say hello to it. Now,
Yeah.
we were just talking about a glen. What is a glen?
A
So,
small bit of water.
aye, so usually it's when the land just drops away. I don't know if you'll see down there. Let's go around this way. So, towards the town to the east here, the glen comes down past the Abbey Church, the cathedral, and it drops away down. Just wait till you see this. Now, the glens here are amazing. Let's see a wee look. Look at this. Look at that.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That's pretty beautiful.
Shall we go down and check it out?
Yeah.
Right, come on, let's go down here. And then over here we've got the pavilion we were talking about. We've got the lovely gardens down there. I mean, Dunfermline's Pittencrieff Park really is a pretty special place, isn't it?
Park to be reckoned with.
A park to be reckoned with, young man. Yes, indeed. Come on then, away down here and have a wee gander, eh?
Yep.
And will we look for a nice wee picnic spot on the way too?
Yeah.
Now, is Dunfermline famous for anything else you can think of, William? Have they got a football team?
Yeah.
Oh, have they? And what are they called?
Dunfermline.
Dunfermline Athletic, imaginatively.
Yep.
Aye.
That's but they're not very good, so.
Well, they used to be really good when I was wee.
Really?
I really liked them. Aye, we used to go to the games. They were great.
Were they in the top league or?
Aye, they were in the top league back then.
What happens?
Look at this wee house here now. You can see the stepped style on the side of the building there, the traditional Scottish style. So this will be the Laird's house and the glass house.
Yeah.
So will we just take a wee walk down the glen so we get a wee look at everything?
Yeah.
Oh, look here, the Forbes Trail. Wow.
In 1758, at the height of the French and Indian War, British General John Forbes and his troops took on daunting task to carve a trail over 300 miles long.
Through Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, whatever. Background and take: French Fort Duquesne at the forks
of the Ohio River. So I'm sure there'll be some of our subscribers that will know exactly where they're talking about here. So Pittsburgh, Bedford and Carlisle. So Pittsburgh, Bedford and Carlisle, do you recognise those names?
Pittsburgh's in America.
Pittsburgh's in America, but what about the other two names?
Carlisle's in Scotland.
That's in England actually, and Bedford, but they're places from the UK. So that's what happened when people went over there, didn't they?
Yeah.
They would name the places after where they had come from if it was kind of similar, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, and look at the flowers here. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
I mean, these gardens are just amazing. And do you know who lives down here? Lots and lots of squirrels who have no fear of humans whatsoever.
Seriously, so they'll just go up
Seriously, they will just come up to you and grab your hand. Grab the nuts right out your hands.
there. Yeesh.
Right, well, we'll take a wee donder down here.
Okay.
Come on then. Oh, here we go, boys and girls. So this is the Japanese garden. Do you see a squirrel? Come on down here, we'll find more. So let's go and check out these Japanese gardens. I mean, this is just amazing. Oh, a wee pigeon. Look, this one's no scared either, look.
He's like, I'm going to get on my day.
Hey, he's just getting on with it, isn't he? Hello, little guy. Right, hopefully we don't disturb you. Hello. Oh, he's letting us walk right up to him. A very friendly young man. Oh, he's away now. Right, come on down here.
Yep.
And what do they call this wee bit? Is this like a pagoda or is this something different?
I think it is.
You think it is?
Yeah.
Just look at the big rocks here on the side. Huh?
Yep. They're giant.
Absolutely. Oh, look, there's a wee squirrel there. He just ran away. Oh, look, 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 look. There he is there. He's just creeping up. Oh, he's scampering away up the hill now.
I couldn't see him.
Because you're not seeing him. He's just over there. Just have a wee look. And look at it down here. Can you feel the temperature change down here?
Yeah, it was a bit cooler.
It's a lot cooler, isn't it? And then we've got all sorts of different plants. Oh, look, there he is, just scampering up that tree. Look at this falling down tree. It's like a ladder for the squirrels.
Wait, can you tell what kind of squirrel?
Look at that. Can you
That's
see?
a grey squirrel.
That's a grey one. I think it's only grey squirrels here.
All everyone's been.
And look at the size of these trees. I mean, my word, I can't even see the top of them. They're so tall.
Yeesh, yeah. But the squirrels are still adorable.
Oh, the squirrels are absolutely adorable, young lady.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got some nice glens in Scotland, but this one
It's amazing.
is absolutely amazing, isn't it?
What happened? You've got everything here.
Oh, look, a wee birdie as well. Look, it's just flying along beside us. Oh, he's away again.
Scampering into the bushes.
There's some bamboo here. Fantastic. Look at this, lots of bamboo all the way along here.
I think that was a picture of some sort.
Oh, was it? Right, come on then, up here. It feels like we're in a jungle now, eh?
Yeah.
And look at the size of this tree.
It looks like when the water's falling back.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you think maybe more like a.
Right, I think we've gone far enough now. Will we say cheerio?
Bye.
Bye!